Hello and welcome back to the Chatgate podcast in the, technically bonus one this week. I mean, it's the actual release date of our podcast, but we switched it around. So does that mean Halloween Ends is the bonus one and this is the normal? I don't know Ken anymore. You know what it is though? Time to break the fourth wall. I'm your host, Thomas Hughes. Obviously, I'm joined by a little bit Hayden Roberts because obviously we're going to break down and review, not a movie. We're not going to do a random talk. No. We're actually going to break down a TV show.
Yeah, it's a classic situational comedy.
We're going to smash for a TV show. And sometimes Matt Murdock. Because we're going to be covering, obviously, She-Hulk. Obviously, Alex was going to join us for this, but obviously he's had some prior engagements, so obviously he wasn't able to join. So we're going to do it without him. Obviously, She-Hulk is the latest Disney Plus Marvel TV show. Obviously, following on after the likes of, obviously, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and obviously it's the 7th one now, is it? Obviously, 8 if you count What If, but live action.
Yeah.
It's a 7th one, I believe. Obviously, this one focusing on the Hulk side of the Marvel, because it introduces us to
family.
Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. Obviously, this is kind of obviously a different type of Marvel show to what we've seen so far. It's sitcom styled, so like there's some things that do follow on. There's like that general plot that goes through every episode, but it's like kind of a back burner, and it's just more random shit each episode.
It's literally, it's a lawyer sitcom first, the Marvel shit afterwards.
I think that's why it gets a lot of hate.
It gets a lot of hate because it's not what people were expecting.
That and the writers like to slag off men a lot of times, so people are probably looking at it like.
I mean,
you spend like you're spending like 20 minutes of your runtime just slagging off dudes and making us look like idiots.
I mean, you are.
I'm an idiot. Not all dudes are idiots, though.
Well, you've seen James and Alex, Craig,
and Connor.
I mean, true, but Connor's a specimen. He's basically a monkey.
I thought you just said a special kind of idiot.
He's basically a monkey. Connor is. He's people. He's returned to monk. Connor.
He's gone backwards in evolution. I'm gonna tell him about this.
Connor doesn't count.
I'm gonna tell him about this.
I fucking love it.
It's very pretty agree with you. But yeah, it's perfect. That's why. I mean, have you seen the actual ratings of this on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Obviously, all the shows so far, positive review by critics, positive review by audience. Have you seen the ratings differences on this show?
I'm guessing it's
audience 87. I mean, audience critics 87%, which is really good score. It's actually in their top like TV shows of the year situation. Audience, last time I saw. Was it in the 30s or 40-something%? It was like half the critics. It might even be less than that, actually.
What, her incels?
It generally is like rated really bad. Obviously, it's trolled a lot. But then again, she takes she trolls the trolls within the show.
Yeah, like the whole point is like they knew that basically a lot of these butthurt people who take it too seriously. Like they knew they would be basically slating the shit out of it because it's
35%.
Yeah,
literally, it is currently sitting at 87%, which is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes from 565 critic ratings. Audience from over 1,500 sits at 35%. Like it's, I've seen a lot. Don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of positive responses to this show, and obviously the pilot I thought was really good. I thought the pilot was really interesting. Obviously, the chemistry between obviously Jen and obviously Bruce was really fun.
They look
the little references to obviously the actual movies. The Captain America had set. that end credit scene was hilarious. Obviously, the reference to obviously building this obviously bar with Tony was like really nice. I really liked the pilot. Obviously, I think it definitely slowed down and it stayed at a sort of the same level for most episodes, in my opinion. Like it never went too over.
Yeah.
But there's probably about 3 episodes out of the 9, I think, off the top of my head, that I'd highly rate. The pilot being one of them. The fucking Wong episode. The when Wongers. That one and the Daredevil one. All those three for me, well, I'd put above every episode. Whereas every episode I'd sit at the same sort of level because I thought they're all equally as good. They've all equally got positives. They've all equally got negatives. But I enjoyed them. I didn't not enjoy an episode. The only one that kind of threw me because I had mixed feelings towards it, was like, I don't know how to react to this, is the finale. I got a voice message from Alex after when I woke up and he was like saying stuff to me, and I messaged him back and I went, it was hilarious but anticlimactic, and that kind of left a bad taste at times. Like it was like it built up to something like the fact that they're teasing stuff constantly and then it just kind of went like so quickly, like instant arrest, nothing, that was it. It was like game over. Yeah, that kind of was like, what? What's going on? And Alex literally responded back going, same. Exact same response between us was with that in sync. We've played that much It Takes Two in these co-op games together that we're too in sync now in mindsets.
I liked the ending, like the finale, because like she even points out that the whole point is like she doesn't want it to be like this big flashy fight that makes no sense.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I understand it. It just the fact that they would tease this obviously secret organization, intelligentsia, and you see it all happen. Obviously, then it does the fourth wall breaking. But then when she cuts back, it's like the instant arrest. Like it's like in my opinion, it should have cut back to that moment. I mean, she even turns into She-Hulk. She's not allowed to.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's She-Hulk when the coppers arrive. And it's just like, no one's responded to the fact that she's transformed into something she's not. She's literally broke the law.
I think one of those ones I like.
So why did she turn into She-Hulk? Because obviously, during that big chaotic thing, she wasn't She-Hulk. Because obviously, Abomination was protecting her.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand, like... It's just how they cut it, I think. I think that's what did it. It was how they edited it, I think.
I think, for me, it seems like they just jumped. Like, it's not like they cut it wrong. I think it's more she literally just jumped back into that scene, and what we see the cut is her jumping literally straight into that cut.
Yeah, I want to see.
I
want to see how they got to that bit though.
I think it's one of those ones where like it's literally like a lot of the Daredevil one or Deadpool and the Gwenpool. Most of the meta ones, the idea of jumping from one frame in the comic to another frame, that kind of idea. But in this, it's like going from one show to the other, like to the back behind the scenes on Disney Plus, and going back into the show and like going to different scenes. It's more meta.
I don't know. I understand the meta. I love that. I love the Kevin joke. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah.
It just, I don't know. It just felt anticlimactic. Like it was like I've been watching this show for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's not really gone anywhere.
I think that's the point.
I mean, how the show went. Obviously, the fact that it didn't literally go anywhere really. It kind of makes that fucking joke even more hilarious. The Kevin joke of, "Oh, I'll see you on the big screen." Really? No.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, yeah, no. I mean, I'm hoping if they do a series 2 that it actually has a plot. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind the sitcom style of it, but I wish it actually had some sort of plot. I mean, there was the plot, the intelligentsia, which is abruptly ended like it was nothing.
I think it's more of like, let's try to say, it's a situational comedy. It's not a Marvel like big climactic show. I mean, the idea of the ending just being like, well, I'm not here to be a superhero really. I'm more a lawyer. I'm not gonna beat you up to put like other superheroes do. I'm seeing you in court.
I just don't think they should have they should have not done this overarching plot. It should have literally just been each episode been its own thing.
I think, yeah,
because then I think that would have left that bad taste out of it, because it wouldn't have been as like they could have like that whole intelligentsia thing could have been like in one episode maybe like it'd been one episode, and then they did that and you then that would have made sense. Like I don't think it would have felt as anticlimactic.
I don't
but
know.
because that could have been, it still could have been the finale. But obviously that could have been the full focus of Intelligentsia. Like, they could have teased obviously these characters and obviously what the hell is this Intelligentsia, and then at the end obviously cut to like that'd be like even if it was a bit longer episode, like it was actually like a 30-minute episode or something like that, to actually expand the story into one episode rather than try and spread out these obviously the story across multiple and not actually take it properly anywhere.
I don't know. I think it went where it's supposed to be, but like if you look at it from the meta side, that's
yeah, I understand that, but I mean,
you think you're focusing too much on the actual story, where it's more in itself. It's the method you'll be focusing on. I think.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the show. I just think it's my least favorite Disney Plus Marvel show. Honestly,
whereas I agree.
I honestly think it's my least favorite. I mean, I slated the Miss Marvel villains, but I honestly prefer Miss Marvel to this show. But that's because I thought Kamala was great. But honestly, this is probably, if I was to rank them all, this would don't get me wrong, I still highly rate them, but this is my least favorite one, which is weird because Daredevil's in it. It's literally the one episode I gave 10 out of 10 was his episode.
Yeah.
Everything else, as they stayed the same apart from two. The first and the fourth, I think, episode it was Wonga's. Fourth or fifth.
Wonga.
Those are the only two I actually. It was the one after the Blonsky one. That was the fifth one then. But honestly, don't get me wrong, I thought it was fun, but I've heard a lot of people slate it. And heck, this isn't just men. I know my auntie gave up watching it.
Yeah.
She didn't like it at all. She gave up watching it. So it's not just men. This isn't just men bad that being sexist towards.
Most of it is.
Most of it is, yes. Most of it is,
it
which is why they do rip it in the show, which I do find hilarious.
So I've seen a lot of people.
I do find the whole idea of obviously putting the red the tweets and that in the show, obviously taking them slamming her, which is basically what reality is happening right now. I understand. Obviously, a lot of the hate is from men, but obviously I've literally heard from an actual woman's point of view that didn't get into it at all.
I've seen a lot of people saying, like, especially a lot of women who they love it because they can at least resonate with it a bit more better. And I think a lot of people that love it are the ones who at least they read quite a few of the She-Hulk comics, and they know this is what it was going to be like going into anyways. No one, like, a lot of people probably expected it to be just like another generic Marvel media property. Like, they were probably expecting to at least have a big climactic ending, just like all the films and just like all these new Disney shows doing. But the idea is like, well, stop trying to push the big MCU Marvel gloss over what, again, they keep saying is it's literally a lawyer show. That might be why a lot of people.
It's because Marvel's stuck to their guns for years, and it's worked. I think this if this maybe happened a few years back, then it might have been responded different from the audience. But because Marvel's always been the same type of thing for the past since 2008.
Yeah,
it's never really changed too much. All the changes are only ever slight, but this is a drastic change, which I think that's what's got this mixed response from people. And I say, for the fact that writers are spending most of their time just writing about how bad men are, I think that's what has then caused a lot of hate towards it. I think some of it they've caused their own hate, basically.
I don't think they don't really not like the
that and the CGI.
Every single
CGI
episode.
At times is very Yankee.
But to me, that is the only thing that's the problem. But even then, it's only
the reviews that I've read, a lot of them is digital effects, which is obviously understandable after, especially everything that came out about Marvel and CGI, and just the writing. Those are the two things I read. But that's most of the reviews I've seen. That's where the jabbing is at, is the writing and the obviously CGI. I was talking to Connor about it because obviously he hasn't bothered watching it, and he was saying that obviously he's constantly read everywhere that the writing in it isn't the best.
I disagree. I think the writing's a lot clever. People realise, like that one part when like there's a big trope in a lot of like Marvel comics and stuff. The idea of like a female characters being fridged, or like they are like shoved in the fridge and they don't care about them anymore. I mean, like they have no use for them. Like it's become like a Green Lantern comic where like his love interest obviously was killed and was shoved in the fridge because they had no other. Wants to move on from her and focus more on his character. And a lot of people think that we're like, the whole reference like, is this gonna be those twists where like can be a big new like villain reveal, but he's red. The Hulk will be Red Hulk instead, or am I gonna get fridged? So yeah, am I gonna get killed and just shoved away because no one
gives a shit?
Yeah, there's a lot of meta of like taking points out the tropes in their own things, what they are guilty of themselves. But like, yeah, we understand we're guilty of it. Here's us like we're addressing it, we're poking fun at it, but we're also trying to change it in the show. They're trying to at least not do the same tropes,
copy and paste.
Hence why, like at the end, like when she goes to the writers' room, like they're all trying to like do the same tropes over and over again. She's like, well, this is a very trope. This is like, oh, the villain steals the powers of the hero. It's literally like practically every like superhero film. It's like I can understand why. I like what they did. I mean, it's one of those ones where like, if you aren't like interested in how the deeper side of it, you just want to watch something that's more like escapism instead of being more like in depth of what you're watching. It's probably better for.
It's probably
with
escapism. One of the many other reasons, obviously, why it didn't do as well.
Yeah, people watch Marvel because they want that mindless sort of like
action.
Yeah, they just want to watch it. They don't want to like be
slammed for being a man the entire time.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's the entire time though.
It's most of the time.
I genuinely don't. I disagree. I think it's more of like just
relation.
I think it's because
there's an entire episode of her going through relationships. And it's just like every single one of them is just like a dick, and even the one that is nice is a dick.
It's more of like, I think it's from her, it's from a woman's perspective. I mean, that might be why it seems like the bit men being slayed for all the time. It's more of like the idea of, oh, let's be honest, men do treat women not the best, and it's like, I love you, okay? You're great. You are great.
Fucking charming.
The idea, that's the idea. Like it's.
I'm getting two black eyes after this recording.
Look.
This isn't domestic abuse, I promise.
Areas like Matt,
into it.
Matt Murdock, their relationship is great. Like he's actually one of the good ones.
Did you get the last bit of it?
I ignored you.
She's into it.
But like, there's the idea of like she goes through all the shit to find Matt Murdock. And
R.I.P. Karen.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Karen. They finally got back to level ground and she's clearly being fridged. Callback! See, I'm good at callbacks.
But I think it's more of like, you gotta focus on as a whole and look at I mean, it's not just, I don't see the whole, I really don't think they're slating men the entire time. I think it's just more of, because they're addressing
60% of the time.
They're addressing some problems.
60% of the time.
I think they're addressing problems, and that's what some people are focusing on. Those like, oh, the slagging men off the entire.
I think
time.
it's how they wrote it, though. I think that's what how they wrote it more than anything. That's how people are looking at it. Like I say, it's like they're not doing it as you say in that sort of way, but it's how it's been written, and people are seeing it that way, and that's why I think a lot of them people then complain about the writing being basically not the MCU's best writing. I think that's how some people probably look at it.
For me personally, I don't think it's the writing. I think it's just how it's been interpreted. Because some of the writing can be quite, a lot of the humour is very like sort of clever. I think it's proper like, it's a very funny show. I like the humour in it. I mean, it's one of those ones where like I think it's more humour for women than it is for men.
Yeah,
that might be one of the big problems as well.
They haven't marketed it correctly to actually get an entire audience behind it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just been pushed to the obviously. It'd be like if they did a superhero thing and they basically just fully targeted men with it, and basically sort of alienated women.
Which
I'm guessing that would then get a lot of obviously hate for
a lot of films like that. There's like quite a lot of comedy films that are like that, and that's a big thing. Is like it's more of the other issue. I mean, it's like there are a lot of films that the comedy designed to alienate women, and there is a film.
I mean, in terms of like Marvel, if they fully,
because
obviously they try to make their ones so basically it's universal appeal.
I'd probably say maybe the first Iron Man, a lot more. Like Tony's great, but there's a lot more. There's a bit of sexism. Like
Tony's always been sexist.
Yeah, but I mean, like there's a lot of like they use obviously the flight attendants up the strippers now. Yeah, there's a bit of. There's this journalist who she's do good journalist. She wants to get Tony to see baddies done, but they also end up having sex as well.
Womanizer.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
are you sure you want to ride it that way? Are you sure? Under the covers. What the hell happened in the last 5 minutes? I don't remember.
I think it's one of those.
My work here is done. Oh, heart attack.
I think it's the older products, like especially the first Iron Man.
Yeah, but I mean, when Disney weren't fully involved, when it was Paramount, I believe, at that time. But when they took over, a lot of it was then actually spread.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I mean, you look at Eternals, Captain Marvel, a lot of centre focus on women, Black Widow.
I think they've taken more strides to change things now.
There's a lot more within it that basically didn't really alienate too many people. Like it could get that universal praise, whereas obviously, this it is doing that thing obviously where it's splitting the margin. It's going more to left than right.
I don't know. It's like.
Whereas now, as I say, they try to keep it in that middle ground. Yeah, it might slightly slip to the left or slightly go to the right, but it's still that middle ground. Whereas this is fully.
I wouldn't say it's fully.
Most of the way. I'd say most of the way. Compared to a lot of other products Marvel have done, it's most of the way over there.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, they do show, obviously, like with Matt, like, they do show he's at least one of the good ones. Even that other lawyer guy, that obviously. One
from Arrow. The one who's barely in it.
Yeah.
The one that. I loved him in the last episode. I was like, how the fuck has he been barely in this show? He was in like 3 episodes, I think, altogether. It felt like 3 episodes. Like, he was in that one when they first get to the fucking place, and then he was in the one when they basically get to the suit, and then he's in the last episode. He's barely in it, and he was so good in that last episode when he's like, I can't do it. Okay, guys, females, am I right?
Yeah.
like he fully like snapped him, like was really good in it. I was just like, how have they not utilised this guy as more as like, because he's clearly good comic relief. Why have they not like threw him in like some other moments, like just to add that extra level to it?
We'll probably see more of him if they do.
Possibly, yeah. Because he's really good. I really liked him in Arrow, and he's really good in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously he's a one except they're the one except. Obviously, Wong can't really count because Wong's from an actual.
Yeah, and Wong's
part of the universe.
Great every time you see him.
Yeah.
So.
You know, you got distracted binge watching again. What can I say? TV's great this time. I see. That's another thing I know a lot of people hated. The shift for Abomination. Though I like he's funny.
Yeah.
I can understand the hate because the last time I saw him, he was just I mean, even in Shang-Chi, he was still this quite monstrous creation. Though he had that moment, obviously, when he's like befriending Wong, he's like, that's fine. But now he's fully gone to that generic Marvel comic relief sort of status. I mean, the last scene when he's big t-shirt and everyone's like comparing like pictures, like how the fuck did we go from like Hulk and Abomination in 2008 looking like 2 actual like comic book like monsters to basically the jokes of the shows. A
Mm.
bit like 4, but I feel like before it worked. It made him less generic like before.
Yeah.
Definitely going to that comic side, it worked. With Hulk, it made sense because he's gone to Professional Hulk.
Yeah.
But Abomination, though yes, in some things he's an idiot, he's not really how he is in this show, if you know what I mean.
I think the Abomination, it's more of like, we're seeing him as Abomination when really in this, we're seeing him as Emil, his own person.
But then when he's obviously when he's Blonsky, obviously I don't mind him being a bit humorous. But I feel like it would be interesting if obviously he's still on that aggressive side a little bit when he's Abomination.
Maybe it's one of those ones where like, if you see him again, you might see that kind of side of him.
He's a good gunner because he's in Commentage now, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
gone back with Wong. Wong broke him out of fucking jail. Fucking Wong.
There's some...
So we're gonna have to deal with all these. Basically, this is illegal what you've done here, Wong. Okay, bye.
Oh, classic.
But yeah, as I say, it's not that I don't like it because I do actually really enjoy it. It's just that out of everything Disney have done so far, WandaVision, Falcon Soldier Loki, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, it's definitely the weaker point of it for me. Obviously, as I said, the highlight for me is the Daredevil episode. We got Matt Murdock in, obviously, Spider-Man, which is great. Yeah. But the highlight for me was that episode he's in this. The hallway fight scene. Screamed Netflix Daredevil. Yeah. The Netflix theme playing in the background was a great inclusion. And that he has been given this little bit of comedy, but not too much comedy. I like that they haven't done what they do with Blonsky. They haven't forced the full comedy onto him.
Yeah.
Like, he has some humorous moments, like the Walk of Shame, but it's not as if it's being forced into him, like, uncharacteristically, if you know what I mean. Like, he's been given it, but not too much. Like, it's the right balance for me with him. It's not too over the top, if you know what I mean. I feel like if they put too much comedy in him, personally, I think it would ruin him. I
think it's more of like, with Matt, he's still Daredevil, so there's still that element of like
dark.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit more comedy than he's like in the show. But in the show, he does have some funny moments.
But I think
mostly when he's Matt.
But honestly, I think if they push too much comedy on him, I think that's going to ruin it a bit too much because Netflix struck the right balance, and this has shown. Adding a little bit more comedy, but not too much. It's still the balance is still intact. I think of it as Thanos with the blade, and the balance is right.
Yeah,
they've both got it balanced right. Even with this extra bit of comedy, it hasn't outweighed the balance. He's still this badass with the fight scenes.
Yes,
and he's still got a bit of humor. Obviously, the Walk of Shame. But it's not over the done. So I feel like at the moment, if they keep him as he is, great. I don't mind him going a bit more dark again because Born Again he kind of needs to be.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just right.
With Emil, though, I think it's because we're seeing him at the end of the journey. Like, it'd be like literally watching the first 4 film, watching the fourth film. We don't see what happens during it, but that's not really the fault of the show. I think that's more of the fault of Marvel that haven't used them at all since that film.
2008.
Because they're like, oh, let's not forget that film for a bit.
Even though we keep referencing it constantly, I put a bullet in my head. That was in the movie. I was a different guy back then. Also in that movie. Like, I understand what you're saying. So hopefully maybe we'll get some movies set before,
possibly before,
where we get to see the actual Abomination.
Obviously, we're seeing him after his time in prison with all the therapy and him.
Because I really want to see how he evolved from that basically generic looking thing to having these ears, the green scale. I want to see how he's got from basically that really weird spiny kind of guy.
Yes,
just a Hulk lookalike. To that, I really want to see how he got from point A to point B. So hopefully they do, and then that would I say make a bit more sense to the end of his journey. He's reflected. So obviously, I think if they did stuff beforehand with him, it would have made sense. But because they kind of just forced him out of the blue, so then people have looked at it and gone, "Well, it just turned into a joke here."
Like I said, we've basically seen him right at the end of his he's already learned to be himself, and he's had all this therapy. He's had all this relaxation. He's got all these multiple wives.
Yeah, soulmates. Get it fucking right.
But yeah, I think it's because we're seeing him at the end of his journey already, where he's accepted himself and he knows what he's done. The fact that it's gonna be jarring, but
got to turn the light on. It's gonna be dark.
Well, nearly finished.
Is there anything else you want to say then?
I'd say that's it. I mean, we've both got different perspectives on it, so I think we're going to be the most.
I wouldn't say divided.
No, it's more diverse. Like our two different looks at it.
I don't say want Miss Marvel, right? Because I know I have actually altered some ratings. So I just want to see. Did I give a Miss Marvel a natural rank? No, it was going to. You did. Did I? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a guess off the top of my head. So I guess ratings then, if you can.
Yeah.
We've basically covered as much. Obviously, we could have dissected each episode, but that's going to take like fucking hours and hours. We'll just give this different perspective, and it's going dark, and she's too lazy to turn the light on. Okay, so ratings. I say for me, it's not my favorite of the Disney Plus era, but I still enjoyed it. I still found it funny. I still tuned in every week. As soon as I got back from work, I'd watch the episode. And I still did enjoy it. And obviously, the Daredevil episode was a highlight for me. The opening pilot episode was good. The Wonga's episode was really funny. And there's a lot of side characters that are really good in this. And hopefully we get to see some more of them. So, personally, I want to stick it with an 8.3 out of 10. I think Miss Marvel for me is like an 8.6. So I'm going to push this a bit further back. It's still high, but not high.
I would say for me, it's one of my favourites. I love comedy. I'm a big fan of you're a big fan of horror films. I'm a big fan of comedies. I've always preferred comedies over most of the films, and I think it hits the comedy perfect. I think, and the whole point is like the 4 films. It's comedy over superhero, and sometimes it's one of those ones where people not appreciate that, but I do. I like that. It's why I love the 4 films, even the ones that people don't like the 4th one. I love that one because
I love that
was
one.
Hilarious. And like they even have some serious moments into it as well. And I love the whole we're seeing not just the Hulk, She-Hulk. We're seeing Jen as well and going for her journey. But like in the Avengers film, we see Bruce, and then the Hulk is the hero that we like see in the fights. That's it. He's not really got much like character until Ragnarok, where he's obviously got the humour to him because it's dumb Hulk. But I like the exploration into it and the whole conclusion of her accepting her She-Hulk self and like being both a lawyer and maybe a superhero. And the fact that she also gets a good relationship with Matt. It's more of it's like the start of the relationship, I think. Obviously.
Again, R.I.P. Karen.
Yeah. Oh well. It's one of my favorites. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Genuinely, like I would have give it a 10 out of 10, but because of the whole CGI stuff and the controversy because of the CGI, like the whole special effects team and stuff, that would knock it down for me. But yeah, I would genuinely give it a 9 out of 10.
Photograph Alex. I know you're mentioning you. It's like fucking Candyman. You mention his name.
I know, yeah.
And he fucking appears.
You'd like to do the whole podcast now.
Okay, so
This is killing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Okay. So that obviously that would give a She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Mm-hmm.
The chat gave overall rating of 8.7, which is basically where the critics have put it. Okay. MVP.
I mean, generally,
It's her show, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
where else can you really give it to?
Mm.
It's like she's the full focus of the entire show.
Yeah, and I said runner up. It's between me, Nikki, Madison.
I'd put Matt in. I'd put Matt in there as well.
Matt as well. Matt is definitely one, but I think it's because Matt obviously generally in the first two last episodes. Like overall, I mean, yeah, Matt was great in it, and like I said, you loved that episode. Like Nikki was a good sidekick as well, though. Also,
But then again, we have
amazing.
been giving us the sidekicks the runner up constantly.
Yeah.
Whenever we do these, it's always the sidekick character that gets the runner up.
That's probably why. But
they're always
the whole point
there.
is that they're supposed to be like the one supporting the secondary.
Okay, I'll accept Nikki then.
Mm.
I'll accept Nikki as the one because obviously she was a bit more in it than he was. Obviously,
yeah,
of a friend. So yeah, I'll accept Nikki's run up. She's quite funny. I mean, the whole mom episode, she meets a mom.
Oh my god, yeah.
You guys have to send me that. I've already done it. Don't worry about it.
And the fact she uses that to lure out the...
Sorry, Jim. Please forgive me. Yeah, I agree. Okay, then favorite moment. Hands down, Daredevil hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
The blue tint, him just destroying these guys and going, "Come on, what else you got?" And it's like this. It definitely gave me Netflix Daredevil vibes. And I was like, "Whoa, here we go." I mean, it came close. It was either that or the recreation of the Incredible Hulk classic.
That one was
Hulk
good, yeah.
Moment with her, but for me, it has to be the fight scene with the Daredevil hallway fight scene specifically. Though I like it when he fights her, the first bit. It's that scene. It gave me Netflix vibes, and I was just like, "He's back. He's back."
For me, I would say because it became so unexpected for me. Like I'm just sitting there watching it, and suddenly she fucking just jumps out of
Disney Plus.
Yeah, like
assembled. There we go. I did read a lot of people tweet saying, "I thought my Disney Plus had frozen."
Yeah,
I was supposed to turn it off.
I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then when she's still speaking, she jumps out. I'm like, I've got a grin on my face. It's fucking hilarious.
Marvel's Assembled, not Gallery as I kept calling it before. It's Marvel's Assembled.
But it was because it was so surprising. Like even I thought
very comic accurate.
Yeah, I thought like meta wise, I thought all they would do was just for the camera, like most sitcoms they do nowadays. The whole talking to the camera. I thought that was all they do. But the fact that added that level of meta, I loved it.
Okay, so my question here is going to be, again, just obviously like She-Hulk, obviously she's related to one of the main Marvel characters out there. Is there any other Marvel character that's related to ones we've seen so far that you'd be interested to see get a Disney Plus series? A bit like obviously how Rhodey was getting obviously the Armor Wars series, but now he's getting an Armor Wars movie. Yes. It'd be the case of similar, obviously, if Winter Soldier obviously didn't have that TV show yet, and obviously we then could get Winter Soldier 1 spin off from Captain America 1 is linked. We get it that way. Obviously, it's like we've got Ant-Man. If Wasp had a TV show instead of being part of the movies first, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. What character linked to a main character would you think would be interesting to see in their own spin-off show, and why? You can't think, can you, off the top of your head?
No, I'm trying to think through. There's quite a lot.
There's a few that would be interesting. But again, it's just a case of trying to remember them.
I mean, a lot of
Ned, the series.
I know a big one. He's not in it yet. But Spider-Gwen. I want Spider-Gwen.
Ned, the series.
That would be funny as well.
I'm the guy in the chair. Oh God! I have my guys in the chair.
What are you doing? Watching
porn. I'm watching porn.
Oh, okay, have fun. Yeah, I think Spider-Gwen was a good one. Mostly because I like Spider-Gwen, so there's that.
There's plenty of characters that it would work for.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that then. Obviously you can check out the Disney Plus pilot reviews we've been doing for the Hayden show. We've just started it. By this episode going out, we have done the first two. So after this episode, we'll be doing Loki, I think, at that point. You can also check out the previous Disney Plus full series reviews. Obviously, I did WandaVision with Alex. Falcon and Soldier with you and Alex. Loki, we got James on for that and Alex. Obviously, we did the Moon Knight and Miss Marvel as one big mega review we did. And obviously, all we're missing now is Hawkeye, which, don't worry, we're getting to you soon, son. We're getting to you soon.
Eventually. Like
a month time. So we're close. I'm saving it for Christmas. Give myself a Christmas present. Okay, so obviously you can check out the podcast on the usual podcasting platforms. And next week we should hopefully have a bonus episode. Yeah. Because obviously Black Adam by this point should be out, and we're gonna go watch that. So we're gonna try and do what we do with Halloween Ends, do it as soon as we can. So we don't have to basically have a backlog of movies like every Marvel movies. I might just start just throwing them in as bonuses when they come out, just so we don't have a massive backlog. So yeah, we're gonna try and do Black Adam, and then we'll have a special Halloween themed quiz next week where you get to see if you can beat Connor's score from last year. Probably yes. If you don't get the first one right, I'm gonna just leave you because it means you won't know me at all. Trust me. Connor got it wrong. He didn't know me at all.
Probably I know you too much.
Exactly, and you've fucking been around me when I've been mentioning this thing, so if you don't get it right, then you're a fucking idiot. You are an idiot, but you know what I mean. But
you can't.
But anyway, hey, if this show can bash me, I can bash you. Uh-oh. Yeah, so we hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, it went a bit dark. We apologise. Someone got too lazy and couldn't be asked to turn the fucking light on. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed, and we shall see you next time.
Bye.